Hello again. I am back with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. I had COVID and I actually couldn't even talk at all for several days, and have been in quarantine. And then my son got it, and then my daughter got it. She actually just tested positive for it today. So life has been a little crazy, but I hope to be able to get back to, kind of working on these videos, just because it is something that I really enjoy doing. I love showing kind of what I have going on and giving, like cooking tips and things like that. It's kind of a passion of mine. So earlier today, it is now 2:30. At about 9:30, I had my protein-filled coffee, and then out around 11:30, I had two hard shell tacos, ground beef, from Taco John's, which are just fine. I actually, I want to say they have 7 grams of carbs per taco, so it's not terrible. I've had them before, but I also take off like the top half of the shell, like the part where there's no like toppings. I take all the lettuce off. I don't like lettuce on them, and then I just take off the shell. Like I just rip it off the shell. So really, I only eat about half of a shell for each one. So my carbs are actually going to be a little less than that. I don't really have a way to track that in Fat Secret. Like there's just no way for me to deduct carbs from my meal, but it still doesn't really matter. I'm going to be under carbs today anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. But just FYI, you can't really do that. But so I had that around 11:30, and I am now getting ready to make kind of my biggest meal of the day, and then I'll probably have like a yogurt later. So I am going to make temple pork cutlets, which I have made on this channel before, in my air fryer. And then I'm also going to have some green beans with them. So I have some cut green beans that I just have in a pot on my stove with a little bit of chicken broth in there, and then about half a teaspoon of butter in there to give a little bit of unctuousness that I really enjoy. And then while those are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cook my temple pork cutlets. So if you haven't seen me make these before, I have my air fryer pan, and then I have this little pan that goes inside my air fryer because I want to use it as like my oil base for frying. And then in a large zip top bag, I have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Yes, it's all-purpose flour, and probably about a tablespoon of salt and some pepper. I just sprinkled some in there. The reason that I use all-purpose flour is because that's just how I prefer it with this dish. And I'm only going to use really about 1 tablespoon. Not all of that flour is going to come with me, you know, as I put these cutlets in. They're not going to take up all of that flour. So I'm just going to shake it around, make sure I'm kind of getting every piece of meat nicely coated. And then shake off the excess. I dip it in my oil and then I flip it over. So now I have oil on both sides of that meat so that it can really fry, all the way around it. That's a big one. I'm gonna move them around a little. And then my last one, which didn't quite get fully. There we go. Okay, and so as you can see, I still have quite a bit of flour in here. So it's only about a tablespoon. I haven't actually measured it out, but it looks like a tablespoon to me. So I'll call it a tablespoon. And then I'll just get these into my air fryer and air fry them. I want to say that I cook them for probably about 8 minutes. I've got my green beans, delicious, and my pork cutlets, which I'll get out of my fryer here. And then anytime you fry food, you should always salt it. right after it comes out of the fryer. Like not like a while afterwards, but right away. And the reason for that is that the salt is not going to stick if you like wait and let kind of like that oil get absorbed. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and I'm ready to eat. It's about 5:30 and I am ready to have a little more protein. So I'm going to have one of my Okios 000 yogurts. So it's 15 grams of protein, 90 calories, zero carbs, I think. No, sorry, just kidding. There are 7 grams of carbs in it, but that's okay for me. I know those who are doing like really strict diets that have like really low carbs, then it's probably too much for you, but it'll fit into my macros just fine. So I'm going to have this, and then a little later I'll have something else because I will still need a little more protein. I am going to need to have a little more protein today, about 5 more grams. So I am going to have half a cup of my Fairlife 2% milk. That'll be 6.5 grams of protein. And then I'm just going to mix it with about a tablespoon of the Hershey's Zero Sugar syrup. It's not something I eat very often or have very often because it has things in it that are just not the best for you. But it's okay to have every once in a while. And so that's how I'm going to get that last little 5 grams of protein in that I need for today. So let's take a look at how my day turned out. So I met my protein goal for the day, which is fantastic, 137 protein. And my calories are about 1,400. That's just great. And my fat is 68, right where I want it to be. My net carbs are just about 40. But like I said, it's actually going to be a little less than that because I didn't actually eat the entire shell of my tacos from Taco John's. And then my sodium is right where I want it to be, also with being right around 3,600. So I had a pretty great day today. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.